Well, growing up in Mitchell's Plain, it wasn't easy. It was really tough, especially in the area of East Streets, like I said, and you know the challenges that we face there, like gangsterism, drug abuse, alcoholism, and even we can go that far even with young girls selling their bodies for money. But as I grew up in East Streets, Mitchell's Plain, at grade 8 I dropped out of school. And I can remember my school years, you know, it was very fun. It was, yes, there was difficulties, challenges, because to be honest, I didn't really like school. I wasn't that type of guy or person that loves studying, you know, and books and reading of books, and you know. So when it came to exams and times where we would write tests, you know, when I would try my luck, you know, I would really try my luck where I can maybe copy from someone else. I had a friend, you know, Colonel Damons is his name, and he was very intelligent. And because I was tall, and people, my teachers and my sirs, they always asked me, is this really how old you are, according to what your birth certificate say, you know? And I would say yes, because I was tall, you know? I was a giant baby, so to speak, you know? And my mother always used to tell me that people, when she told them that how old I was, they didn't believe her. So this young man, he actually used me as his bodyguard on school. And then I used him as to give me some of his intelligence. So I will protect him because he's my neighbor. We grew up together, you know, and we were friends in and out of school. But I dropped out of school at grade 8, and that is where my life took a huge turnaround, and it started at smoking cigarettes, you know. And I thought, okay, that is where it's gonna end. But now life also threw a lot of things and obstacles and challenges my way, because there was nothing else I did. A dropout of school at grade 8, and I was introduced to many things, many people, you know, and that is how I got caught up by meeting the wrong type of people. And that is the people that we know today, they call them gangsters. You know, and it started where the leaders of the gangs they will share some words with one another saying, we would like him in our gang. We would like him in our gang. And you know, but they were also a little bit, how can I say, aware, because like we said back in the days, ek het die krag weggegee nie. Verstaan nie? I wasn't scared, and I don't know what that is, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I wasn't a scared young man, you know. And yes, I started to also hang out with the wrong type of people, the wrong crowds. And you know, when you hang out with the wrong crowds, you end up doing the wrong things. You end up doing what they do, you know, and you want to feel, because there wasn't much that I could being a part of, and then I felt that, okay, to feel a part of something that you're going to join in, you know. But it was for years that my life went on like that. And one day when it's on a Saturday, when I was really, really drunk early that Saturday, I can remember it, and almost like it was yesterday. And I took a nap, and I went home and I went to take a nap just to get sober. And it was around about, if I can remember correctly, it was around about 8 o'clock, 9-ish that I woke up. And now, you know, when you're a drinkers, you will know. And when you drink, that when you wake up after a sleep, then you have a headache. Now, they always say, whatever made you sick will make you better. So now I wanted to skip my cup That is what we used to say. Ek gaan nou my kop skiet, you know. And I was on my way. I didn't even really wash my face. I just stood up because I had the clothes on that I put on the morning of that Saturday morning when I woke up, washed and everything, you know. And then I stood up. And then as I came out of my door, I met this young man, this particular young man. And he took me, he said, Damian, where are you off to? I told him, I'm going to the Sabine. I just woke up now. I'm going to buy me a beer because, you know. And this young man said, nah, man, go with me. I'd ask him, where to? He said, we're going here over the field. You see, that time, that day's tuk just came in. And he said, instead of going and skiting your cup with a beer, why don't you go with me? You give a 30 rand and I give a 30 rand. We buy a 60 rand straw. That is what we used to call it back then. The tuk came in a straw. You know that cool drink straws? And it's crystal meth. You know? So yes, I decided to go with this young man. And we went to this merchant, the guy that's selling the drugs. I gave him my 30 rand. That was my beer money actually. We went and we bought a tuk. We used the globe, you know, back then it wasn't lollies like today. And woo, that first hit that I took, like they say today also, that just one hit and you hooked. And back then, I can remember, like it was yesterday, that one hit that I took that night, soos hulle sê, dan kraak jou brain. It felt so nice. And it is true what they say, one hit and then you are hooked. I was hooked. And since that day, my life took a huge turnaround for the worse. What started off worse, just hanging out with gangsters and operating with gangsters, different types of gangsters from different gangs, you know. But I never took a tattoo of any gang yet, you know. And that is where, but I was still drinking, and then we will use crystal meth in between. I will use crystal meth because, like I said, I was hooked now on this thing. It just got me that night. And now I must know 60 rand a straw, and now I must buy wine or so. But as I think back to those days and that times, I can say without doubt in my mind today that God's hand was upon my life even back then. I told myself, no man, you know, I want to change my life. I want to live a better life because my children used to see the police van pick me up, throw me in the back. I decided one night when I was laying, I told myself, this cannot carry on the way it's going on. Me just throwing my life and allowing Satan to destroy my life, like the Bible says in John 10:10, why he came is to rob, to kill and destroy. You know, and I said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And this is where my life really took a huge turnaround, and where I actually accepted the Lord Jesus Christ into my heart and life. And lo and behold, I thought for a moment that just in an instant or suddenly everything overnight is going to turn into sunshine and roses, and everything's just going to be honky-dory and fine, you know. And to my surprise, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I was serving the Lord as a young man. I was serving the Lord, and you know, I loved the Lord, but I was still smoking a cigarette. And you know, here and there I would still, while I was serving the Lord back then, I would still take a hit of the tuk, lolly, and stuff like that. You know, so I wasn't really serving, and it wasn't long, then I backslidden again. I fallen back, you know, turned my back on the Lord. And every time when that happened, I can remember that it's almost like more demons were added unto me. I got more worse and worse and worse. So worse that I end up smuggling the tuk. So worse that I end up smuggling the truck that I used to use. I end up smuggling it, selling it to our children and the people out there. My youngest brother, he came to me and he told me with a photo of myself. Remember I said that in 2007, before the first time when I backslidden, I gave the Lord a chance, but I didn't give the Lord, surrendered all. You know, I was still smoking, and whatever chance I can get, I was still also taking a hit of the crystal, man. You know, and a lot of Sundays, I will go to church. I don't know even if that apostle that I used to serve with, if he knew, if he could pick up, if they could see or whatever. But you know, the devil just have this thing that he makes you never mind, you don't worry, you know what. But anyway, and then my brother, my baby brother came to me with this photo when I just gave my life, the first time when I gave my life to Christ, and he said, and he was crying, he sat on my bed here at the back where I live. He was crying when he was sitting next to me with this photo where I was nice and, you know, spec fit, apple round, that God has made me, you know. And he was crying, and I was crying with him. And he showed me this photo and he said, this is the brother that I want back. And I was so thin, like a reed, you know. And it didn't happen immediately and right there and then. It took me a couple of days to think about it, and his words, and my wife crying, please baby, my girlfriend crying, please baby, this guy is, what if they shoot you? I don't want to lose you. And after everything I did, even unto her, cheating on her, buying girls with the drugs that I used to sell and smuggle, you know, thinking that you are untouchable and no one can do anything to you because you just owe, you know. But while I was doing that, I was also thinking about my brother. His face was always in front of me, crying, sitting with my photo, saying, this is the brother he wants back. My girlfriend back then, crying. My children, crying. Daddy, please, you know. And long story short, that I decided I'm going to go to the ark. I'm going to break away from everything and everyone. I told my father these words. I said, Daddy, when I woke up one morning, I said, Daddy, I'm going to go to the ark like you asked me to go for help. The ark is a type of a rehab center. You know, where drug addicts, doesn't matter if you Christian, Muslim, Hindu, doesn't matter, anyone and everyone is welcome there. It's in Mfuleni. It's like a recovery center, you know, for drug addicts. And it's not only for drug addicts, it's also a place where alcoholics can come. And it's also a place for homeless people, orphans, single mothers, and so there's a lot going on by the ark, you know. So I decided I'm going to go there for help. I did my program, 6 months, and God started to restore me, you know. And I knew when I was at the ark, I knew when I must go home, I'm going to need a church or a place where there's the preaching of the word, or the shepherd of the house should need, and that is what I'm going to need when I get out of this place after my 6 months and when my program is finished, you know. And I came out from the ark because I was trusting God as well, and you know, I was serving, and then I found Jesus Connection Church, where I am today, you know. And Who would have thought that? Yo, it's almost like it's still unreal, everything for me. Up until today, still, I found this great church, Jesus Connection Church, where I'm an elder today, you know, and I'm here for almost going for my 5th year with this congregation, you know, and sovereign word and pure word that was preached and doctrine and just what I needed, I found it at this church. And God blessed me with a wonderful church, wonderful congregation and people that I'm surrounded with, you know, and I'm just grateful unto God for what the Lord did for me. And what I have learned is this, that if He can do it for me, He can do it for anyone and everyone. You know, He's not a respecter of persons. He loves us equally. You know, there's nothing that we can do, because like I said, I failed the Lord. I backslidden, I served, and then I turned my back on Him again, and I thought, maybe He won't give me another chance, and I must just destroy my life, you know, continue living in sin. But every time the Lord surprised me, whenever I called out on His name, He was there. He picked me up, you know, and that was the one thing that God has taught me in His Word, is Proverbs 24 verse 16. The righteous man will fall 7 times, but he will stand, or she will stand up again and again and again. You know, because I've learned that Jesus Christ will never give up on us. Doesn't matter what you do, where you at in your life, if you are maybe sink into sin, if you are maybe a part of gangsterism and drugs and all these sinful acts and stuff, here is a living testimony of my life. And I am so grateful unto God today for the great things, and He's not even completed. He's still, you know, He's still busy in my life, but I am so grateful. I am set free. I am delivered. You know, I am washed with His blood, and I have the joy of the Lord that is unspeakable. So I just thank God that for this opportunity where I could share my story with whoever is listening or watching. God bless.